back to Unicorn Dust Designs. Today is part 2 of the scrap wood DIY, so let's jump right into it. So we're gonna start this video outside. Don't mind my outfit, y'all. I am taking this old piece of scrap wood. I don't know where I got it from. I know I got it free off a marketplace. And if I'm making something that I'm not going to make multiples of, I don't really measure it. It's more so eyeballing. So sorry, your measurements are going to probably be different. The second item I'm going to take, I think it was our old stove top shelf. And of course I broke it apart and thought, you know what, I could use those later. So I'm going to make some rectangles out of these, or squares. I think they're rectangles. So I'm going to make 3 that are the same length and then 2 that are shorter. So I'm going to do, I thought I was going to do like pumpkin patch, you know, and then like the 5 of us, but then I decided against it because I wanted to be able to sell it. So now that I have my pieces, I'm going to do the candle wax method. So you are just going to get a candle. This is from Dollar Tree, and you're going to rub it all over your piece of wood. Now, the more wax that you add, the more barrier there's going to be in between the paint and the piece of wood. The less you put, the less you're going to get off. So I am going to paint all of my pieces of wood that I've covered with wax. I'm going to go ahead and let that dry. I just use my heat gun. Then I'm going to take shipping tape and I'm going to rub that on there pretty tough, and then I'm going to peel it back. Now you can see I used a lot of wax on mine. So if you don't like this look in particular, but you still want a distressed look, you are going to use less candle wax on the, oh gosh, that one was a lot, but I still loved the way they turned out. Now you're going to want to change up that shipping tape. For every pumpkin, you might need to use, 2 pieces, because the cleaner the tape is, the more you're going to be able to rip off of there. But I love this distressed look that it gives. Then I'm going to take my drill. I'm going to take the smaller little sticks from Dollar Tree. You could also find these in your yard. And I'm going to make sure that they fit in here. Then I'm going to take, is it wood glue, I think. And I put them on with wood glue. You guys, I'm a mess as usual. Now I'm going to put D hooks on here. I wanted people to have the opportunity to be able to hang it or stand it up, because this will be freestanding as well. Now I'm going to line up my pumpkins. I'm going to see where I want them before I actually attach them to our piece of wood. Look at how beautiful that piece of wood is. All right. So now that I have my placement, I am going to make sure I am overlapping the pumpkins on the top enough to where I can nail them together. I am using my wood glue, my Type Bond wood glue, and then I'm just using a little bit of hot glue so that I could get the immediate hold. Now that I have those connected to the 3 on the bottom, I could take that entire piece off all at once, which makes it 10 times easier. So you can see I'm trying to make sure that this is straight and flush with the bottom of our wood. So I put wood glue on once again. I put hot glue, and then I'm just going to stick it on there, and we are going to be done. Now you can put our pumpkin patch, you could put the, Beltry pumpkin patch, or you could do pumpkins 5 cents, whatever you want. I decided to leave it plain because I thought that it would speak to a wider audience if I left it very rustic and simple and didn't put words on it. John said, we don't have to put words on everything. I don't know why people do that. I was like, you're right. I hope you guys really like this one. So I just want to show you. I marked my line right there. You want to cut on the opposite side of that line. If I were to cut on this line, you have to think your blade is, however thick, that your measurement is going to change if you cut directly on top of that line. So I don't have the safety. I'm good. So see how that's just touching the other side of my line? That's how I'm going to get accurate measurements. And excuse my voice. Now that we got that tip out of the way, I am going to go ahead and cut this wood. Now, as you saw, there was lines and holes. So I started my measurements based off of cutting in between those lines and holes. So that's what size I chose to make my tray, was based off of this scrap piece of wood. I will leave the measurements down in the description box for you in case you do want to make it this exact size. But I'm going to cut 3 pieces off the in the same length. And this is going to be the base of our tray. Then I cut 2 more down. And at first I thought these were going to be like the sides where we would put like handles on top of. But I was like, no, there's no way we could do that, because then there would be no space in the middle of the tray. So what I decided to do was I still cut them down. I'm going to cut, again, you guys, 2 pieces. And we are going to make a riser with it instead of a tray. So I'm going to lay my pieces out. These are 1x4s, by the way. And then I'm going to use my Titebond. Now, I'm not using wood glue, hot glue, because the hot glue will create like a little barrier and create a gap in between this, which we don't want, because you're going to see, you know, the lines. So now I'm going to take what are going to be like our legs for our riser, and I'm going to attach that with some Titebond wood glue as well. Now I'm going to take my nail gun, now that that's nice and dry. Oh yeah, and that wood glue, Gorilla Glue is better wood glue because it stains properly. This, you were able to see the wood glue after staining. So now that this is nice and dry, I'm going to take that nail gun and I'm going to make sure that I get those nails in each piece of the wood that is going to be sitting on top. Now you guys, we're going to try this new method. Okay, this is so fun. So I'm taking my Aura Mask 813 stencil vinyl, and this is Transfer Ease transfer tape. These are in my Amazon store. We're going to go ahead and peel that back. Now what we're going to do is, if you guys have seen this before, well, good for you. But this was my first time, so I'm super stoked about it. So I'm taking polyacrylic and I'm taking a sponge brush, and I am going to put the polyacrylic over my stencil. I just used 1 coat, and I made it was a pretty healthy coat. Like, I wasn't oversaturating it, but it was a good coat. I let that dry, and then I peeled it off. I only put 1 coat of it, and then I'm going to weed the rest of that off. Now look you could see the hint of that there. You see that there? Now we're going to apply our stain. This is Early American. I'm applying it with a microfiber cloth, and I'm using gloves with this. Now look at this. Look at this. Oh my gosh. Do you see it? It pops out. You guys, no joke. It looks like it's engraved into the wood. Like, where have I been forever? Because this is the coolest thing to do. Look at that. And you'll see at the end reveal like how much like more defined it looks. All right, now I'm grabbing that polyacrylic again, and this is water-based polyacrylic. I'm going to put 2 coats of it. Polyacrylic is food safe if you allow it to cure, which takes a long time, so make sure to read up on that. I will not be using this well, I'm selling mine, so what am I talking about? But I'm going to apply 2 coats to the front, the bottom, and the sides. I'm going to go ahead and let that dry, and then look at this, you guys. Okay, I'm going to show you it as a riser as well, but look, is that not gorgeous? It looks like it's engraved into the wood, and I could imagine making these for, like, you know, put mom there or dad or like grill mat. I don't know, just like there's so many options. I am absolutely in love with this. If I had counter space, this would be staying in our house. So I hope this gives you some ideas, you guys, and you enjoyed it. Hey everyone, I hope you're enjoying this video. I was really excited to read your guys' comments last week to see your guys' reaction to the scrap wood DIYs. A lot of you were totally vibing with it, which makes me happy because, like I've said before, I'm super passionate about working with wood. I think it's an item that when it's built the right way, it could last forever. There's so many possibilities with it. And always keep in mind that you can find scrap wood on Facebook Marketplace. Local fencing companies sometimes give their fencing away for free that they like take down. And then if you guys have one of those like axe throwing places, contact them as well because they throw all of their old wood out. So that's also another place to check. So you guys, you know the drill. If you're digging me, if you're digging the DIYs, if you're digging this video, then make sure you like, make sure you subscribe, and all my links will be down in the description box for you. And I also wanted to let you guys know that the website is up and running. I am going to be having shirts on there, tumblers, coffee mugs, and then also my digital SVG files. So please go check that out as well. All right, you guys, let's go ahead and get right back into the video. Now, I know everybody has seen these pumpkins done a million bajillion times, but like the last one, I wanted to try something kind of modern and chic, so I thought we could give this a little twist. So I'm using Skeleton Key by DIY, and this has become one of my favorite colors that I've tried from them so far. We're going to paint them front, back, side, then let them dry. Now we're going to take a stencil. This one is from Dollar Tree, but you guys can get so creative with the stencils. I'm going to use my painter's tape to hold it in place, and then I'm going to take spackle. Y'all schooled me on spackle versus caulking in that one video, so thank you. You learn something new every day. So I am taking spackle, and I like this one because it dries to white when, it's fully dry, which I like. And all I'm going to do is put that over the stencil, and then I'm going to lift it up. Now, if you do have this stencil, I wish I would have paid attention and turned the stencil around so the little leaves were going downwards, because what I ran into was this straight line up top. So if I would have turned it around, I could have avoided that and just done the little leaf pattern. But either way, it still came out cute, but you'll see more what I'm talking about in the reveal. So I let this one completely dry down, and then I'm going to do the same thing to the other two, and I just overlap them. So you can see with this one, I had to line it up. Now you guys can get so creative. You can make a pumpkin stencil. You can use any of these other, it needs to be one of the thicker stencils. I will say that, because the thinner you get, the harder it is to control. After those were all dry, I'm going to go ahead and drill holes in the top, and then I'm going to put some wood glue, and I'm going to put some hot glue in these as well, because these will be sold. So I wanted to make sure that they were going to stay intact. I mean, I don't know if they'll stay intact if somebody drops them, peduncle first. I crack myself up. Anyways, the stems, peduncles, are from Dollar Tree, as usual. So we're going to stick those in there. And then I do clear all this stuff, you guys, with clear matte spray paint, since it's just home decor. If it was something like the tray that I showed you, I would be using a polyacrylic or a spar urethane, something like that. But since these aren't going to be handled much, I just use the clear matte spray paint for this. And then I love them. However, like I said, the stencil looks a little odd because of that straight line right there. Yeah, if that wouldn't have been there, I think these would have looked very modern and upscale. And I wanted to leave the leaves off because, like I said, I wanted them just to look super chic, modern. Now we're going to grab some spindles. So I found these on Facebook Marketplace. It was an actual, an entire staircase that somebody took apart and they were selling. So I bought it all. Yes. Oh, yes, I did. My husband wasn't too happy, but I was. So I cut these down, and of course, if you guys don't already see it, I don't know what to tell you, because the top of these screams peduncle, and then the bottom, the base, we're going to make a pumpkin. So I thought this would be a great way of using some of these. So I'm going to use Pumpkin by Waverly, and I'm going to give this 2 coats. Now these could be any color you want, you guys. They do not have to be orange. I will make these available on my website. I do not control shipping prices, so don't come at me for that. It is what USPS tells me it is, okay? So now I'm taking dark wax by DIY, and I was rubbing it on the top to make it look more blended, since those were fresh cuts. And then I got carried away and was like, oh, let me rub it around and darken up the wood and make it look fresh. Now, I I love this. I love this dark wax and I cannot wait to try it. Look at the difference of the dark on the left, and then the right side was the regular. Then I get my sanding sponge and I'm like, okay, I'm going to do all of the edges. I'm going to distress these down. And then me being the extra queen, I was like, you know what? Let me see how that dark wax looks over that. And then I just couldn't stop. I was like, I'm going to put it on the top. I'm going to put it on the sides where I sanded it. And obviously I'm just using my finger and I'm just blending it into the parts that I had distressed with the sanding block. And I have to say, this looks so good. It just gives it so much more depth. It creates almost like a shadow on here. And I think it took it a step up from just painting it just a plain orange, you know? So I hope you guys are totally digging these spindles because I love them. At first, I wrapped twine around them and I was like, I'm going to call it a day. These look good. I like them nice and simple. But I was like, no, it needs something just a little bit more to distinguish, like, hey, I'm a pumpkin. So I decided to take some of my garland that I have. I took some leaves off of it and then I hot glued them. Montgomery just woke up. And this is how they turned out. I think they're super cute. I feel like they're really original. I love the peduncles of them. They're very sleek. And I know that these are going to sell so fast in my booth. Anything spindles always sells. So you guys, I hope you guys like this scrap wood video as well. Make sure to leave your comments. And I can't wait to read them and get your feedback. And I appreciate y'all so very much. Bye. You guys, I'll never get over it. I'll never get over going gray. Is that me or is that like a flake? Yeah, that's a, oh my gosh. They don't look this bright in the bathroom mirror. Is it everywhere? Oh, look at that strip. Thanks, Mom, for the graying jeans. Okay. Like, right back into the video. Let's get right back. No.